Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I am not doing the style content I usually do with gaming, but I want to talk about this because it's something I've been taking time to learn about. I want to talk about Chuck E. Cheese's and Pizza Time Theater and Chuck E. Cheese's mainline pizza restaurants in Calgary, Alberta. Well, I guess we'll start with 3320 Calgary, 20th Ave, Calgary, Alberta. And to start, this location opened with a standard Pizza Time Theater layout, which would have looked like this from the exterior, on October 12th of 1983. This location would vary, as I don't know, or nobody knows, what their starting guest star was. It might have been between Madame Oink, Helen, or Sally Sachet, judging by the time zone that this location opened. But their cabaret act has been confirmed to be the King, not King Cat, which is Michael Jackson's version, which is they opened with the Elvis impersonator one, which was just labeled as the King. Now, it's unknown what this location would have looked like in 1983 to 1988. They would have closed in August of 1988, with the date still being unknown. They would have opened with a balcony stage, and they would have had this up until 1988 when they closed to relocate to a different area. Now, there's no photos of this location besides two newspaper clippings, which I was able to find on an archive site, the Calgary Herald Archive, newspaper archives. But as of currently, that location stands as a Party City, Dollarama, like an outlet store spot, where multiple different stores take up. But it would have been an electronics store. I forgot to mention this was called OVO Sound. It was an electronics store from the early 2000s. So that's something about this location, and I'll move on to the next location. 2770 32nd Ave Northeast opened on August 18th, 1988 as a Pizza Time Theater with the 1988 remodel. And it opened with a Chucky's House, aka the Rocker Stage, and it had all the basic characters that were used during that time. There would be no guest characters or cabaret acts, as those would have been phased out in 1984 for all new locations. This was around the same time Concept Unification started, as Aaron Fector and CCA were having a huge breakout with each other, leading them to disband from being with each other, and which would cause remodels across the nations and countries that had Showbiz pizza places, and Chuck E. Cheese's change their shows to Munch's Make Believe Band. And this store would open as... After opening, this store would also receive Phase 1, possibly Phase 2, which is unknown at this point, and Phase 3. I have photos of the store during its era as Phase 3 before its closing. And then there is in 1995, they would replace their stage with another location's road stage, which would mark the first location to use a stage from a closed location to replace theirs. I'll get more into that road stage later, but there is no exterior photos of the building besides one at the door, which I will not show for purposes of not showing faces. And there are tons of a few photos from the inside, but there is a modern day exterior photo that I took off of Google Maps. But in 2003, in late October, it would close and they would make way for a new entertainment arcade style restaurant called Fun Tycoon. There is no photos of this area besides one photo I'm not going to use, but other than that, the location closes now a kids thrift shop. That's all for this location. Let's move on to the next. Next up on this list is 9627 McLeod Trail Southeast. Now, I was actually pretty close. I used to live pretty close to this location, but it is something else than it was close to over a long time ago. This location would have opened on August 31st of 1991, replacing the former Bullwinkles that used to occupy the building. And this, the bots for Bullwinkles was saved, and you won't believe it, but this store would have opened with the 88 remodel, and this location would have closed in 1994 with Phase 2. After closing, the road stage would have been moved. They would have opened with a road stage, and their bots were, along with the stage, was all moved to 2770 32nd Ave, which would be one of the first few locations to salvage and replace their stage with an existing stage that had been used at a different store that had closed. Now, as of currently, this layout of the store was really unique to this location, as they had used the prior layout of the former Bullwinkles, and they would have kept this, and it would have stayed to Phase 2 because there was no plans on remodeling after deciding they were going to close the location for good. As of currently, this location sits as a Shanks Sports Grill, and the only changes made to the building so far that they have decided was a bit of interior work and the addition of patios. And that would be about it for this location. There was not much known about this location, but I have photos. This location would... It's unknown why this location would have closed, but speculation that the location did not do well due to being on despite being on a busy road. And one of these photos is actually from my family, from one of my uncles went to have their birthday party there. And as far as you know, the bots for the road stage were saved, and the former Bullwinkles animatronics were also saved. It is unknown what occupied this location for the short time it took from it being a Chuck E. Cheese to it being a Shanks, because that would have been a close to 5 year, almost 5 year gap, as that Shanks would open in 1999. Well, that's all I really have for this, but I would say on to the next location, and the final location, 2612 32nd Street. This store opened on August 18th of 2006, and is currently still open and has not been remodeled. And they have recently gotten a trampoline zone, and they opened with a Studio C beta with a 16 movement bot, and they had the original blue camera screen, which they would eventually replace with a ticket backdrop. This location opened with Phase 4 on the 2004 configuration, and would stay like that for years to go on. They would probably update their game lists and whatnot, as in some of the basketball hoops and kiddie rides were removed. At one point they did have a Elvis coin pusher. They also had the old Cool Chuck basketball hoops, and then those were replaced with a NBA Hoops Western version. It's only a matter of time before this location succumbs to 2.0, but it was speculated that this year would probably be its last year of owning the bot. And that's practically about it for this location, as I've actually went to it back in 2022. The bot is doing very well. It's been put on random movements mode, and it sits in possibly with a Cool Chuck shirt and Avenger shorts, or possibly, if so, they could have probably put back on the Avenger shirt. And they have had that Avenger shirt since opening, but they had the cool chuck as a spare. That's all I have to say for this location. All I know is that it's destined for 2.0 soon. We also found this old stained glass piece from the 1980s that was for auction. Have a great day and see you in the next video.